Welcome back. All right, so I may have spoken too soon about the curse of the reverse retros being broken. The New York Rangers today wearing their reverse retros, and of course I have a Lady Liberty magnet because of course I do. And so I thought, all right, so I'll throw the Boston one up. I had this all set up for this morning because I knew the game started at 9 o'clock this morning. I wasn't even in bed until a little after 1, so I was like, all right, so here we go. Now again, Rangers reverse retro. We'll track this and see how teams do. We've got 3 games starting at noon. I have no idea if any of them are wearing the reverse retros either. Bruins were hitting early. So the Bruins were playing the physical game, and it looked like in this game they just fixed it. I don't know how to describe it. They fixed it. The issues they had their last 2 games, they fixed them. Bruins get the first shot at 3 minutes and 15 seconds. This was a low opportunity game early. 3 shot blocks by Vakanainen early. No Rangers shots 5 minutes into this game, and it felt like Boston had control. We then get a power play for the Bruins. McAvoy would hit the post. Georgiev got shaken up. And then Ritchie and Lindgren dropped the gloves because Ritchie fell on Georgiev, so the Rangers took that personally. And there was Ritchie and Lindgren, and later on, of course, Ritchie gets into it again. Nick Ritchie definitely piled up some penalty minutes today. So we end up with 4-on-4 play for a minute and 40 seconds. That power play didn't last. And then at 6:41, it's Charlie Coyle. He scores from Pastrnak and McAvoy. And Charlie Coyle starting to get the puck in the net. That would be good news for the Bruins because they need that depth scoring. The concussion spotter then took Georgiev out. So Georgiev was in net when that one goes in after Ritchie landed on him. And he got a cut above his eye. So he would return to the game, but it was one of those things that I think the NHL needs to work on. If you think that the concussion spotter needs to get a guy out, it should be immediate. It shouldn't be 5 minutes later they're taken out of the game. Parade continued to the box. Pastrnak with a high stick. You end up with a 4-on-3, which became a 5-on-3, and then everything gets killed off, so it's all fine. It's all fine. It's no problem. It's all fine. First 5 shots went to Boston. The next 4 went to the Rangers. And the Rangers played very well in the second half of that period. Both teams were doing a good job of boxing out. Not a lot of open space either way. Making sure that the slot was devoid of enemy troops, basically. Smith had a chance that was blocked by Hayek, who also had broken up a 2-on-1 on that same play. So Libor Hayek had a good game. The Bruins playing like the defense exists in this one, unlike their last 2 games. But keep in mind, they had done well in the beginnings of both of those games. Trent Frederick then gets his second in 4 games from Clifton and Studnicka at 18-14. And I love that scoring play because it's 3 young players on the board together. Love that. Last minute save then by Rask on Blackwell. I'm not sure where the Blackwell who's playing for the Rangers has come from, but he's been fantastic. He's been amazing. Second period, Georgiev returned to start that period, so he was replaced by Shesterkin for the rest of that period. Shesterkin didn't face a ton of chances, and yeah, that's that. Early press by Boston. Studnicka had a breakaway that was stopped, and it was a Johnson turnover that led to that breakaway as well. Long stretch without a whistle, also a long stretch without shots during that period. The shots were 4-3 for Boston at 9 minutes. The Bruins pressed at the half, and then they score, and it's Charlie McAvoy. So he'd hit the post in the first. In the second, he hits the net from Pastrnak and Marchand at 10 minutes and 20 seconds. Bruins were giving the Rangers no space, very few shots. This was Boston hockey. Again, it's weird because the last 2 games against the Islanders and against the Rangers, sloppy play, terrible games. Today, not too shabby. Rask was steady when the shots were coming his way. Georgiev then denied Studnicka in the final minute. So we go to the third period with the score 3-0 in favor of Boston. The Bruins top line pressed in the opening minute. We get a near miss for Craig Smith for the Bruins. Rangers were definitely being swarmed at that point in the period. The shots were 9-3 for the Bruins, 8 minutes into it, and I immediately thought, those poor Liberty jerseys, they're really, really nice, and it's a shame that they're a witness to what we were seeing, because honestly, the Bruins just were the superior team throughout most of this game. Georgiev stopped a chance for Corelli, and then going the other way, and it wasn't necessarily the best shot or from the best spot, but Blackwell gets one from Lafreniere and Miller at 10:47, and then he followed through and he knocked McKegg down. And so McKegg, he got upset. He got kind of angry. I was very surprised this didn't become a power play for the Rangers. I honestly thought McKegg should have been the only one who got taken to the box. But it became a 4-on-4 situation, which was probably lucky for the Bruins because right after a goal, they get a power play. You don't want to be giving him that. So big save by Georgiev with 5 minutes left. And all those saves Georgiev were making seemed more and more important as this game wore on, especially once the Rangers had got on the board. And the Rangers did seem to have more energy after that goal. And then with 3:51 left, Craig Smith, unsportsmanlike conduct. I don't know what he said. I don't know what he did. I didn't see the footage of what he said or did, but he can't be taking a penalty like that. I don't know if there was a call that he thought the referee missed, and he was pleasantly explaining how he missed it in as plain of terms as possible, but he ends up in the box. So with 3:51 left, suddenly the Rangers are alive, and this is not a situation you want if you're the Bruins. Kreider had a shot that went wide. They did pull the goalie with 3 minutes and 15 seconds left because they need two. They needed two in order to tie this up. But that leads to the empty net goal. Coyle, he gets on the board again. So he had 2 goals today. Corrali with the assist at 18:05. And so that empty netter puts it out of reach for the New York Rangers. And then at the end of the game, as the horn's sounding, Brendan Lemieux drops the gloves with Nick Ritchie. Nick Ritchie has no problem with fighting. Doesn't bother him in the slightest. His points, there weren't any points for him today. But honestly, when he fell on the goaltender, I was actually kind of surprised they didn't do more about it than they did. But, Ritchie ends up with having to drop the gloves twice. And so we'll see how this works. Now, here's an interesting thing out of this game. This is the first time in New York Rangers history that the team has hosted the same team 4 times. So 4 times this month, Boston went to Madison Square Garden. They won 3 out of those 4 games. So we can all get focused on that 6-2 loss Boston took, but they won 3 out of 4 in New York, and now the next 4 will be in Boston. So we'll see if that favors Boston or if the Rangers can get their revenge on the road. Shots in this one were 9-7 Boston in the first, 12-6 Rangers, 9-7 Rangers in the first, 12-6 Boston in the second, 17-6 Boston in the third. Final shots 36-21 in favor of the Bruins. It was pretty lopsided once the Bruins got going. Power plays, Boston only had 1. The Rangers had 3. Neither team scored on the power play. Tuukka Rask saved 20 out of 21. I didn't think Rask looked fantastic, but you know what? He didn't need to. They didn't get that many prime chances on him. And Georgiev saved 31 out of 33. Shesterkin saved 1 out of the 2 shots that he faced, which makes it look uglier than what it really was. But for the Rangers, they dropped to 7-9-3. And for the Bruins, they now go to 12-5-2. And they stay in the mix for top spot in their division. And it's a rough division, and more teams in their division are playing today, and I can't wait to review those. So let me know your thoughts in the comment section below regarding the game between the Bruins and the Rangers. Don't forget to hit like and subscribe. If you're browsing your way through, you just happened upon this video. Thank you guys so much for watching, for all your support. I will talk to you again soon.